but we will not let them detract us from the longer-term goal of putting the economic recovery on firm and solid ground.
Okay, European, I think our markets are with a deep gash of red. I think Europe will open with a bit of red as well on what the Fed has done. So globally, I mean, it's not really anybody's fault, but globally markets are feeling the sting of Fed's tapering, or the announcement, as Sonal Verma said, a clear-cut laying out of how the program would be over the course of the next 9 months. Okay, I think we'll get in more information. I think Monteng Singh Ahluwalia has already spoken to us, but we'll still probably cut across and hear out what they have to say. But yeah, I don't think European markets will open any better than what the other markets have done. We'll just wait for these to come out. But yeah, 0.5% or lower, if I'm not wrong, is FTSE, probably more than that. FTSE is slightly under 1%, but some of the others are much lower than that. Well, the June flash composite PMI is, well, at a high level. But no, the global markets or the European markets should pull those up for you. FTSE CAC DAX are trading with the tinge of red. Let's get in a market perspective. Carsten Brensky joins us right now, senior economist at ING, joins us right now on the phone line. Carsten, globally, not just in Europe, we're seeing it in India as well, that markets haven't taken very well to what the Fed has to say.
Yeah, I think this is it's the case because it shows that the Fed will probably wait longer before they start tapering than most had expected. I remember that a couple of weeks ago, people were still guessing that this might be September. I think with the Bernanke statement, we now are rather confident that this will rather happen at the end of the year and not already after the summer.
What happens from here on, according to you?
I think from here, we will see some more that towards the end of the year. We'll get the announcement. We'll see that the Fed will slowly take their feet off the accelerator. I think the interesting thing that we also heard yesterday was that Bernanke said that the Fed was not planning to actually sell the assets they bought, but that they will probably hold them until maturity. So, which also means it will be a very gradual exit from QE.
Okay. Carsten, one last question really. How much more strength for the dollar? I mean, against the emerging market pack, particularly India as well, there has been some remarkable strengthening of the dollar vis-a-vis the emerging market pack. But how do you think the dollar behaves? I'm not asking for a prediction, just a trend.
No, I think, let's say, we should see that the economy strengthens further in the U.S., which normally should argue for a strengthening of the U.S. dollar in the next 6 months.
Fair call, Carsten. Leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in and giving us your views. 59.91 for the currency. It's not looking good at all. Talk more about that. Probably some more talk about the markets, though. We've done a lot of macro. Come back, talk about the micro, about the markets. Get in a corporate voice as well.
We spent the last 3 years in consolidation and investment in system and processes. Now it's the time to ramp up, and you will see a steady ramp up. I believe that it is the beginning of good times, and there's nowhere near plateauing off as far as we are concerned.
Arun Nanda on why vacations are a booming business for Mahindra Holidays on ET Onsite. Only on ET Now.
TaylorMade is always an innovative company if I talk about them, and we always come up with innovative products. So our engineers, R&D is our #1 department, is always working on the next range of products, and they are working on somewhere in US to improve the games of the golfers.
Catch Ateeb Kaur talk about the innovations that drive the company's success on Tea Time. Only on ET Now.
Presented by LG Ultra HD TV.
You're coming to pick me up, right?
Of course.
And could you not be late?
I'm working on it.
Here late.
I was a bit tied up.
The Uber Cool i20. Live the Uber life. Hyundai.
Why can't we put energy to sleep at night?
At Hitachi, we're inspired by challenging questions. That's why, using our advanced power systems and information technologies, we're creating integrated solutions to help cities meet the growing demand for energy, today and tomorrow. Hitachi Social Innovation.
It's our Hitachi.
Hitachi, inspire the next.
Hi folks, I'm back. And so is the Ultimate Tech Show. A new series with global teams, big brands, and bigger challenges. So, what are we looking for this time? Mobile applications that offer real-time decision-making. Social strategy, which offers a personalized customer experience. Big insights from big data. Cloud solutions that outpace consumer expectations. Do you have it in you to be the Super Techie of the Year? Presenting the Capgemini Super Techies Show, Season 2. Prove your tech knowledge on the global stage and walk away with the grand prize of 15 lakh rupees. To register your team, log on to www.capgeminisupertechiesshow.com.
Sorry यार, मीटिंग था. अपनों के फासले, मीलों के फासले. मेरा बैग देखना पीछे, शायद सेकंड रो में है. पिघलते जाएंगे, घुल मिल जाएंगे ये फासले. Welcome back to family. Welcome to LUV.
All right, welcome back. You're still watching Market Sense right here on ET. Now, just to readdress the markets, we're looking at a level of roughly about 56.87 coming in on the index with 2.5%, closing into that kind of loss in the session. The intraday graph will come up for you on your screens. Important part is it's been lying low, and over the last half an hour, we've just been stepping low with every passing tick. So, remains to be seen how this picture looks once we step into the last hour of the session, where the European trades would get more active. We'll have to wait and watch out for that. An update on gold as well. There's been a further fall there in the illiquid assets, so down about 1.5% on gold. Silver down about 2.5%. Continuing with talking about some of the interesting ideas that UBS has come out with in the mid-cap space. One more such idea is DB Corp, and Girish Agarwaal, who's a promoter director of DB Corp, joins us with an outlook on their business going forward. Thanks very much for taking out the time and speaking with us during this anniversary week. Let me begin by asking you, Mr. Agarwaal, about how ad revenues have panned out so far in Q1 of financial year 14, and are you going to follow up, to Q4 with another quarter matching double-digit growth?
See, if you, as you rightly mentioned, that the last quarter was a pretty good quarter where we had the double-digit revenue growth, and also the profitability was pretty good. And I think the overall trend, what we are seeing in the current quarter also, is almost on the same lines. And we are very confident that this double-digit growth going forward for the Q1 and the Q2, we should be able to maintain, because what we are noticing all around, that there is some signs of the consumption improving happening in the market. And advertisers are all out to really woo those customers. Categories like automobile, categories like education, categories like lifestyle, and even the real estate, they all have really come back in a decent manner.
Girish, with ad volumes holding up and focus remaining firmly on improving the yields, how are things looking ahead this fiscal? Because of the tailwind that you may have and the pre-election activities that typically kicks in for most media companies.
Let me first of all inform you that the election really doesn't make any impact on the advertising overall, except there's some spend from the government start happening to tom-tom about their achievements in last 5 years' time. But normally speaking, from the private sector point of view, elections is not a big deal, because there is no large growth because of the election happening around. What improvement what we are seeing in the categories of which I just mentioned, and all these categories put together, I firmly believe that this fiscal year the growth should be in the double digit. Especially in the first quarter, we are seeing the double digit growth. And the way things are looking around, it should be around to double digits going forward also. Another important aspect of our profitability, that last 2 years, if you notice, we were into the launch phase in Maharashtra and Jharkhand and all that. Now all those additions are becoming slowly maturing up in the age. If you look at Maharashtra, we are already 2 years in Maharashtra now. So most of the additions in terms of advertising revenue growth in those markets have really come up a lot. So my losses in the emerging additions have gone down drastically. So that way, if you see, the profitability numbers are really looking good going forward also.
Okay, can you give us some color on the subscription revenues in Q1 of FY14 and what is the growth you're aiming here over the fiscal? And what's the expected uptick in newsprint prices due to a weaker currency?
See, newsprint prices may go up depending on the dollar, rupee. Because if the rupee is going to stay at that 58, 59, then there will be some impact because 30% of our newsprint is imported. And also what happens when the imported prices goes up, the Indian domestic manufacturer also make the parity as per the dollar. So they also proportionately increase the rate. So that is one concern area for us, that the newsprint prices as of now are not looking very much good to us. Coming back to the categories which we just subscription about, which you mentioned about. In subscription, our focus is not to take the circulation price up to beyond a point. So whatever growth we have seen so far is a mix of some money which we have increased in the cover price, around 25-50 paisa in some markets. So the net impact is around 20-30 paisa. And also a large chunk is also coming because of the newer copies going into the market. Like for instance, in Madhya Pradesh, we increased around 50,000 copies in last 12 months time. Similarly, there's been a growth in Gujarat and Rajasthan and CPH, Punjab also in terms of circulation numbers. So because of that, the revenue goes up. For this fiscal also, we feel that some copies will go up in certain markets. And price-wise, whatever price impact we took last year, in middle of last year, that advantage will come in couple of quarters this year also.
Your margins in mature markets were last quarter were around 30-31%, but still below the highs of 37%, while losses in the emerging markets were halved to 34 crores. With better cost control demonstrated over the last couple of quarters, what's the outlook on overall margins going forward?
As you rightly mentioned, that our mature markets EBITDA margin used to be 37-38%. So obviously as a company, we all are, gunning and trying our best to ensure that we achieve those numbers. But the numbers are yet to go on to that number. But we are hopeful and confident that we are moving towards that.
You have indicated in the past that you're looking at inorganic growth opportunities. What kind of assets are you interested in? And are you in discussions with anybody currently?
As far as the M&A is concerned in India, in the newspaper segment, it's not that simple and easy. Because, it's not like selling your factory to somebody else. It's like, because as a newspaper owner, especially in the small cities, you become a kind of uncrowned king. So even if you are not running a very good business sense in a newspaper, you still think 200 times or 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times before you take a call to sell it off. That's what our experience has been, because we've been talking to a lot of players around, but no results so far.
We wish you all the best though for the quarters ahead. Thanks so much, Girish, for joining in today and giving us your perspective. That's DB Corp. Again, a recommendation from UBS. Flat in the session though. Not too much expected either on a day like this. But what about specific trades that you can take? Prakash has given a couple. Prakash, anything else that you're recommending in trade?
Yeah, like a short Gitanjali gems. Looks like a typical distribution pattern in the upper regions of 600 or so. Thereafter it's fallen. And today's move is encouraging. One is compared to short Gitanjali gems. It can slide down to levels for around 500. Only thing is I would have a stop about 532 and trade short. Good money to be made here.
Prakash, all longs off on the metal counters. They were looking attractive until yesterday, but today's fall. Are you taking off all the longs?
Well, Sesagoa, I had two kind of stops. One was a very tight stop, which I couldn't afford. Luxury was 141. That's triggered. But I would still hold on with a tighter stop of 138 now. Because 138 was a luxury I couldn't afford yesterday. But if I have to initiate a fresh trade today, I think I will do that.
Fair call.
If 138 goes, I think I go.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification, Prakash. Stay on though, lots more to talk about. We'll take a very quick break. Up next on the other side, Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, MD and CEO of Testimony Securities, would join us to speak about his sense of all that's happening around.